Welcome to Beyond the Cosmos, where we explore the mysteries hiding beyond space and time. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that something impossible has happened. The Earth, the massive blue planet we call home, has suddenly stopped spinning. No sunrise slowly climbing over the horizon, no sunset painting the sky with orange and red, just one half of the planet locked in endless daylight and the other trapped in eternal night. At first, this idea might sound like something straight out of a science fiction movie, but if Earth actually stopped spinning, the consequences would be far more terrifying than most people realize. To understand what would happen, we first need to remember something that most of us never think about. Right now, at this very moment, the Earth is spinning incredibly fast. At the equator, our planet rotates at about 1,670 kilometers per hour, or roughly 1,037 miles per hour. That means every person standing near the equator is already moving faster than the speed of a commercial airplane without even realizing it. But because everything around us, the oceans, the air, the buildings, and even the atmosphere, is spinning together with the planet, we never feel that motion. Everything is moving in perfect harmony. Now imagine that rotation suddenly stops, not gradually, not over millions of years, but instantly. The moment Earth stops spinning, everything that is not firmly attached to the ground would continue moving at the original speed due to inertia. And that's where the disaster begins. People, cars, buildings, oceans, and even the atmosphere would suddenly be thrown eastward at speeds over 1,000 miles per hour. Entire cities would be ripped apart in seconds. Skyscrapers would collapse like stacks of cards. Forests would flatten. Mountainsides would crumble. The winds generated by this sudden stop would be far more powerful than any hurricane in human history. Scientists estimate the atmosphere would continue racing around the planet at over 1,000 miles per hour. These winds would circle the Earth, stripping soil from the land and sending debris flying across continents. Anything not deeply anchored would be obliterated. And the oceans would become massive, unstoppable walls of water. Because the water is currently moving along with the Earth's rotation, when the planet suddenly stops, the oceans would continue moving. Gigantic mega tsunamis hundreds of meters high would surge across coastlines. Entire continents would be flooded. Many coastal cities, including some of the largest cities on Earth, would disappear beneath the waves within minutes. But the chaos wouldn't stop there. Earth's rotation currently creates something called the centrifugal force, which slightly pushes water toward the equator. This is one of the reasons why our planet isn't a perfect sphere. It's slightly bulged at the equator. If Earth stopped spinning, that bulge would slowly disappear. The oceans that are currently spread around the equator would begin migrating toward the poles. This means the geography of our planet would completely change. Massive new supercontinents could appear near the equator as oceans drain away. Meanwhile, the polar regions could become enormous global oceans, but perhaps one of the most devastating changes would involve day and night. Right now, Earth completes one full rotation every 24 hours. That rotation gives us the rhythm of life, day and night. But if Earth stopped spinning, a single day would last an entire year. One side of the planet would face the sun for 6 months straight. The other side would remain in darkness for the other 6 months. Imagine living on the daylight side. For months, the sun would hang motionless in the sky, blasting the land with constant heat. Temperatures could rise above 100 degrees Celsius in many places. Oceans would begin evaporating. Lakes would dry up. Vegetation would burn away under the relentless sunlight. Massive desert regions would spread across continents. But life on the dark side of the planet would face the opposite nightmare. Without sunlight for months, temperatures would plunge far below freezing. Entire oceans could begin forming thick layers of ice. The atmosphere itself might start condensing in the coldest regions. Cities trapped in permanent darkness would become frozen wastelands. Human survival would become nearly impossible in most regions of the planet. But there's another invisible force that could make things even worse. Earth's rotation helps power the planet's magnetic field. Deep inside the Earth, molten iron in the outer core moves and flows in complex patterns. Combined with the planet's rotation, this motion generates the magnetic field that surrounds our world. This magnetic field acts like a giant shield. It protects Earth from deadly radiation streaming from the sun. Without that shield, charged particles from the solar wind could directly bombard the surface of our planet. Over time, the atmosphere itself could slowly begin to erode into space. just like what happened to Mars billions of years ago. Radiation levels at the surface would skyrocket. Surviving life would be forced underground or underwater to escape the constant bombardment. But even if humans somehow survived these conditions, Earth's weather system would become completely unrecognizable. Today, the spinning of the planet helps drive global wind patterns and ocean currents. These systems distribute heat around the world and help stabilize our climate. Without rotation, the atmosphere would behave very differently. Air on the hot, sunlit side of the planet would rise rapidly due to extreme heat. Meanwhile, the freezing cold air on the dark side would sink. This would create enormous superstorms along the boundary between day and night, a permanent storm belt encircling the planet. These storms could rage continuously, powered by the extreme temperature difference between the two hemispheres. Lightning storms, hurricane-force winds, and massive cloud systems could dominate this twilight region forever. Ironically, that narrow twilight zone might actually become the most habitable region left on Earth. In this zone, the sun would sit permanently near the horizon, creating a constant sunset-like glow. Temperatures might remain moderate enough for liquid water and possibly even some forms of life. If humanity survived the initial catastrophe, civilizations might eventually migrate toward this twilight ring. Cities could be built in the permanent sunset, where the heat of the sunlit side and the cold of the dark side balance each other out. But even that fragile balance could be temporary, because Earth's rotation does more than control day and night. It also stabilizes the planet itself. Without rotation, the internal structure of Earth could slowly begin to adjust. The crust, mantle, and oceans would redistribute mass across the planet. Over millions of years, this could trigger massive tectonic shifts. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions might become far more common as the planet settles into its new equilibrium. The surface of Earth would slowly reshape itself into something completely unfamiliar. But perhaps the most unsettling question is this: could Earth actually stop spinning? In reality, such an event is almost impossible. Stopping the rotation of an entire planet would require an unimaginable amount of energy. The force needed would be comparable to a massive planetary collision, something on the scale of the event that created our moon billions of years ago. If something that powerful struck Earth today, the damage would be far worse than simply stopping the spin. It could completely destroy the planet. Fortunately, Earth's rotation is incredibly stable. Over billions of years, it has only slowed down very slightly. In fact, the length of a day is slowly increasing by about 1.7 milliseconds per century due to gravitational interactions with the moon. That means hundreds of millions of years from now, a day on Earth might be a little longer than it is today, but nothing remotely close to a sudden stop. Still, imagining these scenarios helps scientists understand just how delicate the balance of our planet really is. The spinning of Earth affects almost every system that makes life possible, from climate and oceans to weather and magnetic protection. It's one of the many invisible cosmic conditions that make our planet habitable. So the next time you watch a sunrise or sunset, remember that you are witnessing the result of a giant planet spinning through space at over 1,000 miles per hour, a motion so smooth and constant that we rarely notice it. Yet that silent spin is one of the reasons life on Earth exists at all. Our planet is not standing still in the universe. It's moving, rotating, orbiting, and traveling through the cosmos at incredible speeds. And somehow, within all that motion, life found a way to thrive. But the universe is full of mysteries, and sometimes the most terrifying questions begin with just two simple words. What if? Thanks for watching Beyond the Cosmos.